Hey gorgeous people, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I made this frontal unit, and if you're interested in seeing how I did it, then continue to watch. So I'm going to be using hair from Black Show Hair. You can see all the information of this hair in the description box. As you can see, such a lovely packaging. I love it so much, and I got 3 bundles, 118, 120, and 122 inch, and I believe it is a 16 inch frontal. And you guys can look in the description box. I put all the information of all the different services that this company offers. They're also a hair vendor, hair manufacturing company. So if you're interested in selling hair, they do provide services for that. And the hair quality texture is beautiful. I was so in love. So yeah, let's just jump right into the video, and I'll show you guys how I make my wigs. So the first thing that I do, of course, is I bleach the knots. I'm using this High Test 40 volume developer as well as a BW bleaching, and as you can see here, the texture of the cream was a little bit too runny, and I was scared that it was going to run through the knots and go into the hair. So I went ahead and I added some bleach, and I kind of want it to be thick like toothpaste. Like, I want it to not travel through the knots and bleach the hair, because that doesn't look too cute, which sometimes it does happen, but that's fine as long as it doesn't happen too much. But yeah, I just basically covered it, and then I'm leaving it for 10 minutes because this is the 40 volume developer. So then I go ahead and I take my canvas head, and I'm basically taking the measures of my head from my hairline to the back of my head, and mine is 15 inches. As you can see, I'm just drawing down exactly where my head, what are the sizes of my head. So from the back of one ear to the back of the other ear, as I'm doing here, is also 15 inches. And I'm just making sure it's centered at 7.5, because that's 15 divided by 2 at the middle of the canvas head, and that's basically how I measure it out. And I'm gonna just be using this dome cap, and basically I'm just going to put it on, try to fit it exactly where I put my measurements, from side to side and from back to front. And then here is where the hardest part of the whole wig plays in. This is where I believe this is the most important part, because you have to make sure that your frontal is flat on the canvas head. So this might take a little bit more time, so you just have to kind of find out, I guess, it for yourself, and then just try to keep pulling it as much as you can. And then you can go ahead, when you feel like it's flat enough and it's going around the canvas head as flat as possible, then you can go ahead and sew the frontal down. I'm just basically using a weaving needle and some thread, and I'm just going around and just threading away. And then I'm taking my longest bundle. As you can see, all bundles are all different lengths. So I'm taking the longest one, and I'm just starting from the bottom up, from side to side. I'm just sewing down all the hair. When I get to the end, I kind of clip it so that it doesn't fall while I'm trying to sew it into the cap, and then I just go through the cap into the thread, into the weft, not into the thread, into the weft, and then I just keep going. And this is pretty much what I do the whole way through. So yeah, as I start to get to the top, I kind of start curving the direction of the weave so that it can eventually go like kind of on the same curve of the frontal. It's pretty common sense. I don't know, that's just me. But it did take me practice. I've probably done this about 10 times, probably more. But first few times it was a little bit challenging, but I would just say take your time with it. Don't rush, and you should get it right if you just take your time. So as you can see now, I'm at the front. So the last thing that I do is I take a piece of hair and I basically just sew it into the frontal. So the last piece of hair should be flat between the frontal and the weave going back. And then this is the hair on my head, and I'm just cutting down the middle of the frontal and then just down the sides of the frontal. And this part is a little bit tricky. Basically what I do is I go around my ear and I cut a little piece of the hair behind my ear while pulling it forward, and then I cut hair down like my sideburns. I make sure I leave the sideburns so then I can lay it flat later. And yeah, so now I'm just basically pulling hair, the first part of the frontal to the front, and then I'm just tweezing the hair backwards. So I'm not actually tweezing from the front of the frontal. I'm tweezing kind of behind so it doesn't give me bald spots. And the trick is to not over pluck, because I did get some bald spots. I mean, sometimes I go a little bit OCD on this thing. It happens, it's life, you know, but just try to make sure you don't over pluck. And then I went ahead and I straightened this hair. Such a beautiful texture and very easy to straighten, I must say. Yeah. Now I'm just taking a hot comb, and basically with this hot comb I'm just kind of flattening the hair down so that it kind of just looks a little bit more like it's scalp like. The key is to make it kind of like scalp like. We want to make it look as much as it's coming out of our scalp as possible. So here the wig is almost finished, and I'm just trying to fit it, see if it's good, see if I like the way it's looking, and I was content with it. And I went ahead and plucked a little bit more just to make it look a little bit natural. Remember, don't over pluck, because I feel like I kind of did that, but it's fine, just don't over pluck. And then I went in with my Got2b Ultra Glue, and I just applied a whole bunch of that. And this is the way that I apply my wigs. A lot of people like using glue. I don't like using glue because I don't want to have bald patches on my head. I would rather just use the Got2b glue. It comes off with water. It's a gel, and it sticks. It might last you a day, not even, but to me it does the job, and I would rather save my natural edges. And this is what it looked like in the end after I glued it down with the Got2b glue. And then I went ahead and I kind of just applied some mousse. This is from Argan Oil. You can use any mousse, and this even helps it to just settle in even more. And as you can tell, this is the finished results. I loved it. I was really happy with the results. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I will answer them. Just drop them in the description box. And here is a clip of the hair about 2 weeks later. I love it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Thank you for watching.